Hello and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. Behind me I have a car that I'm personally excited for. This is a 2005 Jaguar XJ8L. There it is in its glory. It's a beauty in my opinion, and I got it with minor front end damage, but unfortunately the damage hit the radiator right up here, and once the car gets up to temperature it starts to leak coolant. So I bought a new radiator for it, which is right here. I hope they sent me the right one. I have not done a radiator job on a Jaguar before, but I am excited for it because it does not look to be that difficult. So we're gonna start by removing, I guess, a bracket, if you will, from both sides. It looks like maybe 8mm or so. It is an 8mm, and since I have never done a radiator on any Jag before, this I guess will be a very honest opinion if the job is difficult or not. I'm hoping it won't be. Usually radiators are kind of messy and not fun, but I guess we'll see how this one's gonna go. But this is an 8mm. Got them all loosened up. Now I could unscrew them by hand and put everything to the side. With those out of the way, I'll start getting rid of some of these top pieces. So the coolant tank, let's see if that's also an 8mm. It is. So there's that bolt. Hoping this piece I could just lift it up and maybe set it to the side so that I don't have to take off and clamp off that smaller hose. And then this seems like it's, yeah, glued on. So we'll see how well that works out. Okay, so here's my first boo-boo. Pulled that out. The hose is very easy to pull off of this piece right here, and then coolant came out of the hose. Oh, let's see if I can let go of that. This is the electrical pin right here, and there it is right here. So disconnect that. That was very easy. Yeah, pretty much lost all the coolant out of the tank, but maybe we could just leave it like this. So that exposes one hose right here. This one right here, we'll put that pin back. Should probably get a flashlight. I think next step we'll clamp this together to free it up and then slide that off. Keep losing focus on this one. So there are Phillips head screws, they're plastic, that are holding this intake opening, I guess, if you will. So I'm just trying to take those out. And this is what those look like. Now this is free, just not sure where I'm gonna put it just yet. I had an E-Class a few years ago that used basically the system, E and C-Class. So just pulled this guy out, set him to the side right there. This should give me decent clearance to kind of work around here. So next step, at the very bottom, right there, there's one bolt, and then there's another one on this side. Right there. So that's holding, I guess it's kind of pinching the AC radiator, and then these lines at the bottom. So we'll have to take those off in order to separate them. If we're looking directly at the car, this is the driver's side. Just right under here are these 10mm nuts, and they are from both sides. Next area will be right here. That's another 8mm bolt. There's one on that side, and one right here. There it is. Maybe a little bit harder to get to it because of this tube right here, but we'll try to find a workaround. Little guy is always enjoying his motorcycle. So guys, at this point I think I am going to have to remove this top portion. I don't think I'm going to take the whole box off. This should just lift up, open it, and maybe disconnect this point right here with this sensor. Push down and wiggle, wiggle. Okay, with that out of the way, should be able to get this piece out some way, somehow. There we go. So that's part of the vent, this guy right here. So we'll set that to the side. So this should hopefully give me enough room. We'll see about this one right here. I might need to, yeah, I'll probably have to disconnect this one too to get the radiator out, because I'm assuming it's going to come out with the fan assembly. So we keep digging deeper and deeper into the engine so that I get easier access. So I guess what I would recommend, guys, is watch this whole video and pretty much see what steps need to be taken so you could I guess take shortcuts. Not that this is a bad way of doing it, but you know, if there's an easier way, then please take that easier way. And the cover should just come off. There we go. Set that to the side. And put this back on top so we don't get anything inside the engine bay. I guess you could get to your spark plugs from here. Probably have to take off these covers. This really reminds me of the Range Rover engine. So this is the throttle body, I think. And what I am going to do is loosen this up with the flathead screwdriver and then move this whole assembly to the side. Nice and easy, although everything is kind of looking messy. So where's my flashlight? I'm assuming this will be the thermostat, I think. And it's held by, it looks like maybe a 12 millimeter bolt. So that's what I'm going to do next. Right down here. On second thought, I don't think that that's the thermostat. I'll show you guys what that looks like right here. I'm assuming thermostat is going to be actually right here. But still, need to remove that piece. In theory, I think just this side left. Take off this metal hose. And then maybe one more down there. And we should be able to start trying to slide this thing out. This is a 19 millimeter head right here. So I got that out, and that should just wiggle out. Feel it coming, but maybe two hands will be easier. So the next part is this big hose that goes down right there. And I'm kind of thinking of just unclamping it from here. It'll be a lot easier to take it out. The only thing is I really do need to get this one out. There it is. So that will go to the side so it's not in the way, and that could overlap them. And then the other one is this one right here. So directly under this big hose. That's the only one I think I am going to struggle with. And then I'm not sure. So this one goes around right here. Yeah, so we got some thinking to do. Probably need to disconnect it right here. I got this hose off. Kind of intermingled these backwards so I have more room. So the last one on the bottom, I broke it loose from here. It's kind of hard to get to, and it's kind of way up in here. Same thing though, it's a 19 millimeter. Now the struggle is with these large hands to undo that bolt and take it out. Guys, I gave up and I ended up taking off the whole hose just because it is so darn difficult to undo that thread right there. So hopefully this will be a lot easier. I feel like we're nearly at the finish line. Just have to take off this nut, that nut, they are 13 millimeter, to disconnect the AC radiator from the main radiator. Now disconnect these three. So mine is all busted up, but I should be able to splice into it later. But disconnect these three, and I think we are just about ready. Back on this side, we have one more connector. Oh, where is it? Right there. There's the female part. This is the male part. Push down, pull out. It's a little tough to get out. The only other thing that's kind of in the way is the AC radiator. It just wraps around very uncomfortably. I undid this bolt and it started to let AC out, so figured I'd try it without removing this. But if I won't be able to do it, then we'll have to undo this 8 millimeter bolt. This will be completely disconnected and drop down, and then I should be able to pull the radiator out. I feel like I have to throw in the towel. Sweating like crazy and no luck, so I'm gonna be getting rid of the AC. To hold it with my other hand. There it goes. Let me put a towel under there. So you will need an AC recharge, duh. But I think it'll be so much easier. Just watch your fingers. I'm actually gonna step away so that I don't breathe it. It's a lot easier with two people to pull the radiator out, because it gets caught on all those other hoses, clamps and whatnot. This is what it looks like. Whew. The last piece that I did not disconnect was this one, but I was able to disconnect it once I kind of pulled out this whole assembly, maybe halfway. So now I need to figure out how to disconnect this from the radiator and then put it on the new radiator. Roughly how it sits. So it gets held in by a bolt here, and then this clip here, this clip right here, and then another bolt, and then this part right here, just kind of have to pull it back and over. So we will kick it over on this side. It looks like my new radiator is here. So we are going to open it up, make sure it's the right one, and I can finish putting the Jag back together. I should have the bumper be ready maybe today, tomorrow, later this week, we'll see. But once the bumper is done, I could put the Jag back together 100%. Hey, looks like it's the one. Now, this definitely looks like the same radiator. Got my 2 points right there. There are these 2 points. I don't believe I put this on all the way. So we can literally just transfer it over this way. Still have to splice into these, whatever these connections are. Looks like it's not the fan, But these are connections to somewhere, so we'll have to take care of those. Dad came to help. He's actually the one that brought the radiator. So we're starting to put pieces together. Connected the AC radiator to the main radiator. The fan is on. Putting in the bolts right here. Pretty much working our way backwards, which is a little bit confusing because this project has been on hold for about a week and a half until the new radiator came in. So I'm actually going back through the video that you guys are watching and trying to kind of learn from there and retrace my steps. There we go, guys. Final touches. Look at this. A little dusty, a little dirty, but I think it looks the same, just as when I started to pull it apart. So I think the next step will actually be splicing into these wires and getting them connected to these, which should be very easy. Should match by color, except these black ones, but I'll figure it out. So this is kind of what the process looks like. The two black wires, the only difference I saw was one is kind of thicker than the other. So that's kind of what we're going with. And then we're putting these wire nuts on, and then I will get everything connected with electrical tape. Now this one will go here. Oh, there we go. Нормально. Use that wire nut. And then this one with the green will go right here. So this is how we're going to solve this issue. We'll actually use a smaller wire nut since I have plenty. I feel like I got these at a garage sale or found them in a car that I bought. So there we go. I'm gonna take all of this fun stuff and with electrical tape, go around it a few times. Everything is put together, so I think now I can add some coolant in here and actually start the car up, see how well it runs. Hopefully I did everything. Make sure it's not overheating, and then we could try to fill up the AC, which I don't know where. Moment of truth, guys. So my main thing is when it reaches optimal temperature that the fan kicks on, and I need to add the right amount of coolant. So I added a little bit, and I kind of heard it go through, and I heard air bubbles come up. So it seems like this is where it goes. And it is not disappearing anymore, but I did not lose a lot of coolant with the removal of the radiator. So I'm gonna leave this open. This is probably to let the bubbles out, maybe. We'll see. We'll keep it open. Let's wait for this thing to warm up. Curious if I should worry. It's been, I don't know, 3-4 minutes. That temperature gauge has not moved. Starting to doubt myself. Maybe I didn't connect a sensor or something, so it's not reading the temperature properly. But I guess we'll give it a few more minutes. See if it'll finally start climbing. Because it did work before. I got it up to temperature, and that's when I saw that the radiator was leaking a little bit at the bottom. Either my eyes are lying to me, or it just moved. Awesome! It's starting to move, so hopefully once it gets to the center, it's not gonna get any higher. So unfortunately I won't be able to drive it until It was just writing, fake writing. So once it gets up, if it doesn't go over, I've had cars where it gets to the center and then once you drive it, then it starts to overheat. But under, you know, normal idle, it wouldn't overheat. And that's because they had, you know, air bubbles in the system. So we'll see. It is literally dead center right now. We'll see if it's gonna go any higher. And then once I get the bumper back from the paint shop, I will put it on. And then once the car is complete, we could take it out for a drive and make sure that all air bubbles are out of the system and everything is as it should be and the car isn't overheating. While we have the car running, since I had to disconnect the AC radiator and all the AC refrigerant came out, we'll fill it up. Wife is telling me that it is cool inside. And I think this can is nearly empty. Look at that. Nice and dead center. My only area of slight concern, so you guys see that? So it's getting up to temperature, but it looks like I might have overfilled it. So I'll let it cool off completely and then, you know, let the coolant do its thing. But that's my only thing right now. Aside from that, everything is running good. As you guys can hear, engine is flawless. It has, I think, 107,000 miles. AC blows cold. The only thing, yeah, pretty much just the bumper left. It took a little while to bleed the system until I figured it out, just because every single car is different, but I got it done. I have heat. I have, actually, let me close the door, and I have put almost 21 miles on this car. It doesn't overheat, runs like a champ, super smooth, super comfortable. Let's see the finished product. Guys, this car has given me so many pleasant emotions. It is such a smooth, such a comfortable car. And I honestly bought it to kind of keep for a little bit. But by the time I was kind of working on this car, I bought the other Jag that you guys saw in previous videos. So I want to keep that one, and I kind of feel bad. But I'm going to be selling this one very, very shortly. And I feel bad because it is so smooth. It is such a beautiful car. I absolutely love it. And this car drives like a dream. Air suspension on it is so smooth and so comfortable. But who knows, maybe it'll take 2 months to sell it and I will actually get to enjoy it. But for this video, this is gonna be it. Thank you so much for all of your support. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in another video.